Okay. Wow, my camera's weird. Sorry, 1 second. I don't know why my camera is so bright there. All right. Wow. First and foremost, I would like to officially. I mean, I don't know if I need to do this, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. I would like to officially apologize to Kobe White for the amount of criticism I've given him, which, you know, it probably was deserved at the end of the day, honestly, with how he's been playing. But I mean, holy hell, bro, this is an insane game to have, man. This is an incredible game for Kobe, bro. This is insane. Major shout out to him. I was very, very impressed with how well he was playing in this one, because the Magic are a very good defensive team, man. There's a lot of lengthy guys in this Magic squad, and that's kind of been Kobe's like Achilles heel all season long. It's like he drives into like too much traffic, and it's amongst all the trees, and he forces a shot up. And honestly, this game, it was quite the opposite. He took all the threes, which he needed to take, right? I know it's like, wow, he took 15, but I mean, hey, if you make 7, it's all good. And yeah, man, I mean, this was incredible to watch. So major shout out to Kobe. Also major shout out to Casey Johnson, because he predicted the Bulls were going to win tonight, and he was right. And wow, bro, that was incredibly impressive by Kobe. So you know, I'm a little bit concerned, obviously, for the tank standings, but we won't talk about that until later in the stream here. I'm trying. 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my stream elements overlay to work, and I don't know why it's still not working. I just tested this the other day, and of course now it's not working again. So I sincerely apologize about this, but yeah, this is insane by Kobe. It's very funny because, you know, David, just kind of my Orlando Magic fan, or my best friend who's an Orlando Magic fan. He just texted me saying, man, Kobe's really showing why the Orlando Magic really should have traded for Kobe White at this deadline, which I wouldn't be shocked if Kobe was actually one of the people that they were thinking about getting. And this is why, because the Orlando Magic can't shoot the absolute like, this team is one of the worst one of the worst three-point shooting teams in league history. And Kobe hit 7 threes tonight. He basically almost hit the same amount of threes the Orlando Magic made tonight. The Magic, bro, they've lost their last 5 now. I don't know what the hell is happening with them. They should be a lot better than what they are right now. But holy crap, that was a very, very impressive performance by Kobe. Sorry, I'm a little bit flustered here. I'm trying to get things to work, and I don't know why they're not working. And yeah, I'm very overall pleased. So I'm happy for Kobe, because I've been very critical of him all season long. I've been pretty adamant. I'm like, bro, like, you got to be better than what you've done for the most part this year. And Kobe, this is now his 4th straight game of having 20 plus or more. So while it's been on some inefficient nights, I do have to give him that, right? Like, he's been scoring 20 plus consistently, which is kind of what I've been asking from him, even though it's been a little bit inefficient on some nights. But obviously tonight was incredibly efficient. And I think that we can go ahead, even though that we've all been critical of Kobe this year, give him this major praise tonight, because man, oh man, this was quite the performance by him. And we have to really talk about a couple of things. One, you know, I am a little bit critical of Billy tonight, but I'm also giving a lot of credit, because he was put in a really rough situation with both Collins and Smith fouling out with 8:11 left to go in the game, and they still found a way to make it work. So I'm going to give Billy some credit there, which I know a lot of people don't like giving Billy credit, but I think he deserves some there. But also, bro, we just have to talk about the Magic tonight, but like, the Magic through this game. If you're the Orlando Magic, you cannot lose this game. I'm sorry. I really don't know. I don't understand how the Orlando Magic threw this one. I understand Kobe's like lighting you up, but like, you're supposed to have all these defenders. Now, granted, Jalen Suggs is out, so maybe that was the biggest issue for them tonight. It was just that they didn't have their best perimeter defender tonight. But man, bro, like, if you're the Orlando Magic and you're fighting just to stay right now, like, keep your spot in the play-in, I mean, you can't lose this one tonight. There's no reason for you to lose this one. The Bulls don't have any centers after Collins and Smith both fouled out with 8:11 left to go. Collins played 12 minutes tonight. Jalen Smith played 26 because of Collins' foul troubles. And this Bulls team isn't that great defensively, and yet you still found a way to let this Bulls team shoot 50% overall from the field as you're supposed to be the better team defensively tonight, and you yourself couldn't make threes, even though this team is horrific defensively. That's insane to me by the Magic. We will also talk about Wendell Carter Jr. messing that up. That he got the offensive rebound and should have just went back up with it. He had the perfect angle to go ahead and just go back up with it, and he for some reason pulled the ball back down. And the clock ran out, and the game's over at that point. So yeah, another reason why Wendell Carter Jr. is just a very mid overall player, I guess, which I was wrong about him. But man, bro, this is a catastrophic loss in my opinion for the Magic. I don't really know what's been going on with them since guys have come back, and they seem to have played better when the 2 stars were not playing, which is just very odd. But we might have to start making some decisions here, because the lack of 3-point shooting on this team is a very big issue. Again, we'll just want to reiterate, they are one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in league history right now. And they just, for some reason, can't get their crap together. Jamal Mosley is playing a ridiculously big rotation, even though they have a bunch of guys not playing tonight. I don't know what's happening here. So, props to the Bulls players and Billy Donovan for, going out and doing well. Obviously, long-term, this isn't the best thing, but it's also not the worst thing in the world right now, because the Bulls pretty much have the 10 seed locked up. It's not the biggest thing at the end of the day. And I really think that this Magic squad might have to take a big look at themselves, and the front office that didn't make any moves at the trade deadline, which was very shocking to some Orlando Magic fans, was like, wow, like, this is a horrific loss to have. You're up by 10 in the 4th quarter, and yet you still found a way to lose this game. That's unacceptable, honestly. So decisions need to be made in Orlando, but we're here to talk about the Bulls. Really fun game to watch. That was honestly a very fun game to watch. Even if the Bulls lost this one, I would have said that this was an enjoyable game, except for the officials. The officials, bro, I won't lie, the officials are just insane. Like, the officials recently have been awful in around the league. It's not just Bulls games. I mean, I think Franz Wagner even tonight got called for a technical foul that was unnecessary. But this is yet another horrible game in terms of the officiating tonight. And I think that the Bulls did a good job of just fighting through it. So props to them, because we've seen them sometimes with the officiating just absolutely go pretty bad when the officiating goes against them. So props to those guys. Shout out to Matas Buzelis for stopping both Collins and Smith from I guess getting ejected earlier in the game, I should say. So glad we beat Wendell. I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Wendell. I'm sorry. I thought Wendell was going to be a good player, and I was just wrong, bro. He's turned out to be a pretty mid player. And again, the Vucevic trade, the issue is not Wendell Carter Jr., it's the Franz Wagner pick that was sent as well. But yeah, that play by Wendell, oof, yeah. And Wendell's just been bad. What a game, yeah. I mean, controversial to say this game was won off 4 things. One, Giddey putting the offensive rebounding pressure on. I don't think that was the main thing tonight, but it was a bit of a factor for sure. But it was only early on. Like, Giddey only had those 4 offensive rebounds in the first half. And I would argue that was not the main reason why we won tonight's game. I would argue that it's this man here. But you can argue that definitely early on it was a big factor. A great / really fun game to watch tonight. Yeah, I think it was overall a pretty solid game to watch tonight. Again, I'm just gonna complain about the officials just because the officiating has just been awful in this entire season. It's just been flat out disgusting. We'll talk about Jalen Smith and him getting that technical foul that he didn't deserve at the end there. Well, he got his money's worth at least. But yeah, I think this was a very overall nice game to watch. It was close throughout the entire game. And we saw, a lot of just crazy plays happening. But not really one team really pulling out to too big of a lead. We saw the Magic get out to that, double-digit lead. And we saw the Bulls, I think, did they also have double digits tonight in terms of their biggest lead? I have to double check that. But yeah, I'm honestly really impressed. 18 lead changes tonight. Biggest lead for the Bulls was 8. Biggest lead for the Magic was 11. So nice job, honestly. This was a very tightly contested game throughout, and looked like the Magic should have won this one. But overall, a very fun game in the end. Is this music from Game of Origins and Pokemon? It is. That is the exact or sorry, it is Meteor Falls. That was the one I was playing earlier. Yeah, sorry about. I mix that up all the time. Sorry. I need to add more music to my playlist. I do apologize. I just can't. I just have to make sure I don't get DMCA'd. So I'm only playing like 4 or 5 different songs just so I know that they don't get DMCA'd. And it's not the originals, obviously, or else Pokemon would come sue me. But yeah, it's this is Pokemon music I like playing in the background. It's the creator of this music is GlitchX City, who does a good job of remixing everything. So shout out to her. Let's see. 2, Kobe not being facilitator, being off ball more, and he only got the ball off cuts, catch and shoot, and times for him to score. I disagree with that, Charles. I think Kobe tonight was showing that, especially late in the game, he was the one initiating everything down the stretch. The Bulls were honestly seeking out mismatches for him, and he was pretty much just isolating against like Wendell Carter Jr. or Paul Banchero or whoever they got the switch for. And he honestly was just cooking them. Like, he was doing a crossover that got him off balance, and he just took him right to the rack. And it's just like, wow, I haven't seen Kobe do that really, honestly, all season long. I'd argue that was the complete opposite. I think that Kobe down the stretch was doing the exact opposite of that. He was the one initiating everything. He was the one that was taking the isolation opportunities against the mismatches and effectively, making most of his shots off of it. So I think honestly that's a little bit. I'm gonna disagree with that. Kobe has to stay. Ooh, Terrence Young. We're gonna have to start talking about that immediately, huh? Yeah. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Kobe's future here. But we'll talk about it. Take the ball away from Kobe so he didn't dribble up much help to me was a major factor. You can maybe argue that early in the game, but for the rest of the game, especially in the second half, Kobe was taking the ISOs easily. Like, it wasn't just, Kobe was playing off ball and getting fed shots. Like, it was Kobe just kind of doing everything. He was straight up just isolating against these guys, and that's incredibly impressive against this specific team, because this Magic team is very good defensively. They have length everywhere, and Kobe was just breaking him down easily, one-on-one. Like, that's insane to me, but, shout out to him. Kobe's still the same to me. He was used differently. I hope that doesn't change. I'd argue that he was used more on ball tonight, if anything. But I do think that he should probably continue to be a little bit more off ball. But I think he was honestly more on ball tonight than anything. He looked honestly more on ball tonight than I've ever seen all season long. Giddy played great D on Franz first half and Plow at the end. So I'm gonna give credit to Giddy for that, but I'm also gonna have to throw credit to Billy's whole scheme. Like, I would have to really look back at it, because there were moments in that when they were running that zone defense, like, it looked like a box and one. Like, it looked like Giddy was the one, and then it was a box with the other 4. But then I swear to God, there were some possessions tonight that was like it almost like a triangle and 2, because what they were doing is that they were putting they were putting Giddy on Banchero, but then they put Buzelis on Wagner. And it looked like, honestly, or maybe it was like Phillips was on Wagner or something like that, but it honestly looked like a triangle and 2 out there. But I'm sure it wasn't. It just kind of looked like that. And I will give Giddy credit for being at least one of the ones guarding, like, specifically either Banchero or Wagner for most of the second half, because I do think that those guys don't really know what to do just yet in terms of how to effectively score, because they can't shoot. And so that helps a lot, but I do think that Giddy did a good job of just sizing them up, because the biggest thing that those guys can do is post up, right? And Giddy fronting the post was doing a good job against that, so I'll give him that credit. But I mean, either way though, I think we still have to give Billy credit there, because that's a very effective strategy against a team that can't shoot threes, and especially because you don't have any centers out there currently, with both Collins and Smith fouling out. You basically are just kind of betting on everything to go, like, you're trying to make everything perimeter oriented, and then you can use your use your speed advantage now that you have on the floor to try to take away certain spots on the floor, right? And the Bulls did a good enough job of it. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it was effective enough, and we'll give Billy that credit. Both Collins and Smith fouling out as a wake-up call to AK that roster needs more than just 2 big men. I mean, you would think, right? You would think it'd be a major wake-up call, but this is Arturas Carter's show is at the end of the day. He wants to play small as hell. You could argue that Jalen Smith isn't really even a center. He is a center, at least in my opinion. But yeah, man, both Collins and Smith fouling out. I mean, Collins fouled out like early in that fourth, and then Smith fouled out with 8-11 pretty much like right after Collins. And it was just like, bro, I mean, it's very funny to me because I signed the Zach Collins apology form last stream, and then this happened tonight, which, you know, it's not all his fault, but he's got to do better than this. I mean, he picked up way too many little cheeky fouls. That was his fault. And it's just like, all right, well, it's one game at least, but yeah, this is unacceptable. I was hoping, honestly, we would get E.J. Liddell tonight, just because, I mean, I want to see him play, and the two-way guys were all here for the Bulls tonight, especially with no Vooch right now. So yeah, I was hoping to see that, but we didn't see it, and the Bulls figured it out. So props to them. I'll focus on good play tonight. Also, let's not forget that the refs were terrible. Oh, for sure. Yeah, we cannot forget that the officials were terrible tonight. We're gonna focus on the good stuff tonight, but the officials, like I said earlier, were awful tonight. I'm losing my mind at the officials. Team showed up as a whole to win this one. I do think that, you know, I'm gonna just give a major shout out to the guys that like had to play extra minutes tonight. Specifically, Julian Phillips had to play a lot of minutes, like out of position, where he's playing like either he's guarding like the center. Like we saw Phillips tonight have to guard Bataze a lot. And Phillips just has to like come in and like be like the center in a sense. So shout out to him because he did a phenomenal job being off role tonight. And I think that we see at least some sort of vision for Phillips where he can kind of just be this sort of like plug and play guy where, you know, he's not gonna be guarding centers consistently every night, but if it's a center that isn't going to be, you know, a star center that runs the offense through them, right? Like, you can maybe throw Phillips on there for, like, a couple of minutes or something. But you see Phillips' versatility. So shout out to him because he had to play a lot of minutes out of position tonight. Also shout out to Buzelis because Buzelis also had to play some of the 5, and he was kind of doing everything. He had 3 blocks tonight. That was very impressive. So shout out to him. And the biggest player, I think, in my opinion, that is not going to get enough coverage tonight, because we're all gonna be focused on Kobe tonight. But Tre Jones, bro, I mean, he had a very nice overall game last game in the starting lineup with, you know, all the injuries, and he still started tonight, which was kind of shocking to me because Giddey returned. And he was phenomenal yet again tonight. So, I mean, if there is any reason to bring back Tre Jones, he's showing you why, right? I think Tre Jones has been, he's been overall pretty good since he's gotten here. I think we are kind of aware of his limitations, right? But he did a really good job tonight. He also had a big 3 tonight as well. And we're seeing sort of like this vision for him maybe down the road, right? So I'm overall pretty pleased with how Tre Jones has looked. He was the guy that I was most intrigued by with the Levine trade. But the fact that he's putting up 20 points tonight is kind of crazy to me because this is a guy that he's not really a scorer. Like, this guy's not a scorer whatsoever, but I mean, if we're not going to put Giddey in the backcourt, but if we're going to put Kobe and Tre Jones as the backcourt tonight, I mean, you had 64 points between Kobe White and Tre Jones tonight, which is not something I was expecting coming into tonight. So shout out to those specific guys because they played a lot out of position, and that's not, you know, something that you can just kind of just immediately just pick up on the fly. They clearly worked on a little bit, and they did a good job. I still think the Magic messed up tonight. I don't know what the hell these guys are doing. I mean, these guys can't shoot for the life of them, but the other players tonight for the Bulls did a good job. They picked up the slack when it was needed. And yeah, bro, some of these lineups out there, I mean, I know Billy's probably having gray hairs after tonight with both Collins and Smith going out, but I was honestly having some gray hairs just watching some of these minutes because I was just like, bro, like, what is this lineup? We haven't seen this lineup all season long, and we're seeing this very small lineup out there. But it worked out, man. And so, yeah, I'm going to give credit to Billy. Again, I do want to just point this out. The Bulls, I think, have officially kind of locked this up now. Brooklyn's about to lose, or they may have already just lost. So this isn't updated just yet. But honestly, let's double check. Let's double check this right now. But I think the Bulls have pretty much locked up the... Oh, wow, this actually got close at the end. That's actually crazy. The Bulls have pretty much locked up the 10 seed at this point. Assuming that Atlanta, which I think Atlanta won today, right? If I'm not mistaken. They did. So assuming like Atlanta, or I guess now we have to talk about Orlando because they're struggling as mightily. Assuming no one else kind of falls here, I mean, you're kind of stuck here. San Antonio is also the other team we need to keep an eye on, but hopefully they keep winning. But I just don't see any way that you're going to be, Philly or Brooklyn's going to be catching us at this point. So we'll just take it as it is for now. And obviously, I'm not going to be here being like, oh, wow, we messed up more of the tank standings when Kobe had this a nice game. I mean, like, this is an insane game from Kobe, so we should always be focusing on that first, because that's the more important thing. Because Kobe's been really, like, he's been better, I'll say. He hasn't been really good the past 4 games, but he's been better from what we've been talking about. For sure. All those foul calls were ridiculous. Bro, I need to just double check this really quickly. How many fouls were called tonight? The Bulls had 31 fouls against them, and the Magic have 21. So you have 52 fouls between the two teams. If you weren't aware, the Bulls were actually one of the Bulls this year, they've been one of, like, the quicker teams in terms of game time. Like, the games go by like this with the Bulls recently. And the last couple of games, with the amount of fouls being called, and it's not necessarily for the Bulls, it's not always in the Bulls' favor here, but the amount of fouls being called in Bulls games recently, the games have been going on much longer than usual. This game ended like at 8:40 something, or maybe even 8:50 tonight. And that's, the game should have ended at least around 8:30 tonight. So it was a long one with all these fouls called tonight and all the free throws. The Bulls had 30 free throws. The Magic had 40. So we had 70 free throws attempted in this one. That's crazy. We really gotta the officials gotta clean some of this stuff up, because there were some BS calls tonight, and then obviously the technical fouls were inexcusable tonight. Billy deserves credit, yes, for his shifts and how he used the players. I think Billy deserved a lot of credit for this win tonight. Obviously, players had to go out and play, which is the reason why I gave the credit to Buzelis and to Phillips, because those guys deserve a lot of credit. Yeah, I think Billy did a good job. Atlanta Rush really nearly beat us. Rush were best. I think the Rush were bad on both sides. I would agree that with Rozzy here, that the officials were bad on both sides tonight. Like, it wasn't just, oh, the Bulls are getting screwed. Like, I think the officials, honestly, for the Magic as well, like I said earlier, Franz Wagner got called for a technical foul in this game early on in the game, and I'm like, I don't think he deserved that tech either. There were definitely some calls tonight where I think the Bulls kind of got away with some things. Like, Zach Collins, after he picked up his 3rd foul, he then blocked Franz Wagner on a play, but he at least in my opinion, he very clearly fouled Franz Wagner, and I think he got away with that one. Like, the officials didn't call anything on that play, and Wagner got slammed to the ground, and it's just like, oh, like, we got away with that one, because that would have been Zach Collins' 4th foul, and it's like in the middle of the 2nd quarter. So I think the officials were god awful on this one. So if I was personally able to write in like a grade for the officials tonight, like a report card for these guys, all of them are getting Fs, because they were so bad tonight. Every single one of them tonight was just awful. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Let's see here. Oh God, chat just. Oof. 1 second. Well, I'm catching up. Their 2 stars just look so bad here. I'm not gonna lie, they both look more out of it when they aren't center of attention. I honestly, bro, I look at these 2 guys and I'm just starting to question, like, is the fit okay? Maybe Jalen Suggs was like that important to these guys. And that might be the case, right? Because you just have the other guy to kind of facilitate. But I don't know, bro. Like, this combination here, because neither of them can shoot the 3 ball right now. Like, it might just be one of those situations where they have to make a decision, because they, like, I mean, I remind me, I have to look back at Franz Wagner's games against the Bulls this year, but like, I feel like against the Bulls, he's been having a really rough stretch against us for whatever reason. But I mean, this season is shooting 31% from 3-point range. Ben Carroll this season is shooting what from 3-point range? Shooting 31% is, I mean, God, bro. Like, these 2 guys, as good as they are, like, they might just not be made for each other. I'll be talking to David later on about this, which he's not gonna agree with me on it, but I don't know, bro. Like, this is a game you gotta win if you're Orlando. Like, you can't lose this one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into these guys. It might just take some time, but I think one of them has to develop a 3-point shot, because the other is then gonna be dominating the interior. But who knows? I mean, they got time, if anything. It's just the money is about to get really expensive for them. Kobe Barrett scored when he took the ball up and dribbled himself, showing to me him off ball after the defensive setup broke it down a little shoot best. He's good finishing at those times. Charles, I'm gonna go ahead and just pull up a play for you right now. Okay, I guess we don't. This is not updated yet. Oh, okay, here we go. Where is this one?
Kobe White with a career-high 42 crosses midcourt.
All right. Automatically, Kobe brought up the ball. They got the switch, right? So Wendell Carter's now the primary defender on Kobe White, and then you see here they basically slip screen with Buzelis. Kobe takes it right off the dribble and goes past Wendell Carter, completely by him, and lays this one up and in. Like, this was kind of what they were doing a lot in this game. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, we're this is like the only thing we're thinking about, right? Like, this is kind of what we were doing a lot in this one. So what was this one? I have to look at this one. Okay, so this is probably your off-ball thing that you're thinking about. But I mean, either way, this is still Kobe. He's the one that has to do a lot. Like, this isn't necessarily like, oh, this is Kobe White fully being set up by Josh Giddey. Like, this is a, oh, we gotta, where this is kind of just Kobe doing it himself. Like, he has to go and make that. Again, Kobe White bringing up the floor and pick and roll. We get the switch. Franz Wagner's down. Kobe White drive past Franz Wagner himself and lays it up and in. Like, this is what was happening a lot tonight. Like, this was Kobe doing his stuff. This is a lot of just him. It's just him going by himself to the basket. And then I can even go earlier in the game where it just felt like Kobe just kind of was just going past like guys like Banchero easily. Or is, yeah, I mean, this one I think is the one against Banchero where it just is like Kobe just like takes him on. No, actually, this wasn't against Banchero, but I mean, this against is it Tristan Silva, I guess. But I mean, either way, that's still just Kobe, right? I mean, I guess it was in the first half as well for Kobe. Let's see. Maybe it was this one in the first half. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is what the Bulls were doing all night, right? Like, this was everything the Bulls were doing tonight. It was just, okay, let's seek out certain mismatches, right? And we're gonna heavily attack the basket and try to either draw the foul or, you know, collapse and everything. But Kobe, like, this is the big thing tonight that's been different a lot was that Kobe is doing this effectively against the mismatches easily. Like, this has not been the thing with Kobe White all season long, right? Kobe's had his issues this year attacking mismatches and figuring out how to get past certain big guys, because he's at moments for whatever reason this year, like, he just hasn't had that extra step to either get to the basket quicker than the other guy, or you know, I don't know if it's just a lack of strength or if it's just like his dribble package is just kind of more like teams are just more aware of it now. But like, this has kind of been what Kobe has been doing. Like this is what he kind of did a lot last year, and this year, like, this hasn't been the case. But then tonight, for whatever reason, like, this was kind of what they were doing. It's just like, go, like, yep, get the mismatch, go. And so I don't know what it was tonight. Like, that's a lot, honestly, by Kobe to, you know, go ahead and just take on Banchero or take on Franz Wagner or go after Wendell Carter Jr. Like, either way, it's very impressive to me. So I obviously there's a lot of plays here where you can watch where I thought it was maybe it's in the second half here, but Kobe did a really good job of just kind of spotting up in transition. Like, this is kind of something where I have been pretty actually it might have been this one. I've been pretty critical of Kobe White in transition this year, right? But yeah, like, this is very good. Like, I'm aware that this is also what happened a lot tonight. But I also want to say, to give Kobe his credit, like, he had a lot of ISOs tonight that was just him straight up taking advantage of certain mismatches. Like, I'm not going to just take that away from him, even though I think, you know, we saw Giddey do stuff like this tonight to help him out. And we saw, I think, even tonight where Buzelis, you know, Buzelis was kind of in a pinch and down the stretch of the game where he picked up his dribble and he got the cutting dunk out of it. Like, I'm aware that some of this stuff happened, but I do think also, to give Kobe his credit, the reason why they're so scared of him is because he's been killing them, and so they're trying to take away the off-ball opportunities away from him so that he doesn't get the ball. and hence it opens up stuff like this, especially if you're hitting your 3-ball. Like, this is just like Kobe doing a really good job. Don't know what Banchero's really doing. He's kind of cheating on this one, but like, this is all set up because of how good Kobe has been this entire game. So, again, I'm not here to like say this is oh, Kobe's fixed and, you know, he's gonna be fine for the rest of the season. No, I'm just saying that I think that when you look at tonight, Kobe had a lot of just on-ball reps that were just himself, where he got to just take advantage of these ISO matchups, and he did a phenomenal job of taking advantage of them. So I have to give him that credit too tonight. I'm not just going to be like, oh, Giddey set him up a lot, and Giddey took the pressure off him a lot tonight. Like, I think Giddey has done some of that tonight, but I also think that a 44-point performance doesn't just only come off unless you're Klay Thompson, of just, oh, guys are setting you up all night. Like, he did a lot tonight, so we gotta give Kobe his credit when it's due. Okay, as much, you know, just like how I gave Giddey his credit when it's due and his hot stretch, like, you gotta give Kobe his credit when it's also due, where he did a good job tonight with the on-ball reps tonight, and, you know, down the stretch he was the main ball handler tonight. So give him his credit. Okay, we're not gonna be here just saying, oh, Kobe still has these issues. Like, yeah, I think Kobe still has these issues. But tonight, he did a good job of playing, like, not showing those issues. He did a really good job tonight. He's not a true point guard. It's fine if he accepts that role. Oh, I agree. I don't think he's a true point guard. But that doesn't mean that he can't, like, I think tonight showed that if he's doing the right decisions, then he can still initiate, right? That's not something I want to just take away from him. Like, if you're going to be a 20-point per game scorer, you have to initiate sometimes. You can't just be only relying on the others to set you up. Well, again, unless you're Klay Thompson, right? Like, you have to initiate a little bit, and that's what Kobe really did well tonight, was initiating a lot tonight. We gotta give him his credit. How they don't take this game as a thing to make Kobe facilitate more? I don't think they will, right? But when he's on a hot run, right, it's okay to let him initiate. Like, you don't need to run everything through Giddey or Ball or Trey Jones if Kobe has it going, right? If Kobe's hitting everything, just let him go. Like, that's fine. Like, I mean, we've seen this a lot with Zach, right? Zach should be probably a little bit more off ball than, you know, he played here. But if Zach just has it going, just let him go. Like, he can ISO. He's one of the best ISO players in the league. So if Kobe just has it going and no one can stop him, then why take the ball out of his hands, right? Can we use the word facilitate and playmaking differently? But I mean, Kobe is not taking up the dribble, not put in spots where he decides if he's taking a shot or driving. Take a shot or driving? Wait, what do you mean? Like, I would argue that this is an exact. I mean, I know I'm late on chat here, but like, this is an exact example of this is Kobe White deciding if he's gonna drive, pass it, or whatever. Like, this is all him. Like, this isn't anybody else. This is all him. I would argue this is a prime example of him doing everything. Like, that's him initiating. That's him deciding if he's going to pass it out to Buzelis or not. And then it's him deciding, oh, I'm going to take the mismatch instead and go for the drive. Like, that's him, right? That's fine. Would you rather Wagner or Banchero? And what would you give up for them if you did? Ooh, Tyler, you're getting into a little bit scary territory because, I mean, I know that it's like, I know it's more hypothetical stuff and it's fun to talk about. I'll just quickly answer. I would rather have Banchero. For the Bulls, though, I don't think it's worth trying to trade for them, honestly. I don't think there's no reason to sacrifice any future assets at the moment for the Bulls. So I personally wouldn't try to trade for them. I also, it's crazy to say, right? I do think that some people have to really realize, like, when some of these players get to this point in their career where they're playing like this well already, where they're like, you know, a pretty consistent 24 plus point per game score or whatever. Like, I understand Banchero and Wagner are both very, very young in their time. Like, they're very, very young in terms of age and everything. But I do think that they're already kind of at the point where you're kind of looking to win now. So as much as I want to say, like, oh, we can maybe try to rebuild with them, like, it's kind of already in a scary mode where you're like, are they kind of just like win now players already, where it's like you can't really effectively rebuild with them? Because, like, if you want to remind them, the Magic are not supposed to be this bad. They've dealt with a lot of injuries this season, but they're supposed to be good this year. So it's kind of like this little scary mode of like, oh, do we want to rebuild with them? Because like they're already like that good. Like they're pretty good. So yeah, I don't know if we really want to even think about trying to trade for them at this point. In addition to Kobe having a gem, this is 100% a loss without Giddey's rebounding, in my opinion. I mean, I think Giddey's rebounding is definitely a very big factor, right? Especially without the centers, for sure. It's kind of just hard to be like, oh, 100% loss or whatever, but yeah, I do think it was a big factor tonight. This is one of the chillest seeming players on a roster, with all the refs pissing him off. 2 Texas crazy. Yeah, it's honestly pretty insane. But he's running iso mismatching. He has to stay. We'll talk about it. I don't know if Terrence is still here. Trying examples playing the stream maybe next if Cyclone Prep in the put a Cyclone Prep in the background. Are you talking about Kobe being less on-ball? I mean, yeah, we can also go over that if we want to, but I mean, I want to just say that, like, yeah, Kobe had off-ball shots tonight, but Kobe also had a lot of on-ball shots tonight where it was all him. Like, that's why I'm just pointing that out. I'm not saying you're wrong necessarily, Charles, about him playing off-ball. I'm just saying that, no, Kobe also had a lot of on-ball opportunities tonight, and he took advantage of them pretty effectively. Like, right here, example, fast break opportunity. You let it kind of just, like, let Trey Jones run it up the court, and then Kobe kind of makes a decision once you get to the half court, right? Now, this is still, again, like, this isn't like, oh, Kobe had a wide open cut to the basket, right? Kobe still has to go and make the shot and, like, get the separation and you know, get the angle on Cole Anthony. Like, this is still a lot on him. Like, this isn't just like, you know, Trey Jones really set him up for this play, right? Trey Jones gets the assist, but that's not really Trey Jones setting him up, but it is Trey Jones pushing the ball down the floor, and then Kobe takes advantage of the bad defensive set that the Magic had out there. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't want to take anything away from Kobe. That's why I just want to point that out. I'll shout out Trey Jones, and he's going to get a contract this offseason, whether or not it's here. Oh, yeah, for sure. Trey Jones is definitely getting a contract. I just don't know how much it's going to be. Because, like, he's already making about $10 million this year. Lonzo took $10 million for next season, like, which is insane to me still about that contract. So, like, what is Trey Jones going to get? Like, is he going to get $10 million again? Maybe. But if you're a backup point guard, do you really deserve $10 million? Like, Jalen Smith is making less than $10 million this season. Like, I don't think a backup point guard is going to be getting $10 million with the current market right now, but we'll see. I mean, I think the Bulls are going to probably look to try to bring him back, but they're going to have to make some decisions for sure. How about Trey Jones too? Yeah, I think Trey Jones is, like, he's done a really good job. I give him a lot of credit for everything he's done here. Cool as Zach has the same happened to Smith too, so something was being done difficult to whoever to deal with. Oh, you're talking about, like, just the foul troubles and everything. I mean, yeah, those two, I'm not like upset necessarily at Zach Collins or anything. I'm just, like, aware that there was definitely some fouls called on Zach Collins tonight that was, like, he was upset, but, like, the officials were probably right. He just has to be a little bit better about it. Jalen Smith, though, I won't lie, Jalen Smith got called for some ridiculously bad fouls. Like, that was, I think, honestly, 2 fouls tonight were not on Jalen Smith that were called on him tonight. But either way, both those players have to be better. Like, you can't pick up all those fouls with knowing the certain situation that you're in as a team. You don't have many centers, especially Jalen Smith. Like, I mean, granted, Jalen Smith did play 26 minutes tonight, so, like, it's not as much on him. He played 26 minutes, right? So compared to Zach Collins, who only played 12, you know, I'm not gonna be too critical, but those guys gotta be better. Like, you can't pick up that many fouls in that little amount of time with 8 minutes left to go remaining in the game, and you're out of the game. So yeah. A lot of Phil's able to do that, very valuable experience. Yeah. Buzaz can improve his off-ball defense. I think he'd be a really good overall defender. Yeah, for Buzaz, it's definitely going to have to be the off-ball awareness in terms of rotations, right? I think that's kind of his next step defensively. I already think he's a really good defender. Like, I already think he's there. The biggest thing, obviously, is just bulking up, which might take a couple years. But yeah, if he wants to really go into that elite status of, like, being that elite sort of defender, where I'm not talking about, like, you know, the initial rotations. I'm talking about the, like, the perimeter rotations, like understanding, like, oh, if I rotate here and then this happens, like I got to rotate back out to this guy. That to me is more rookie status than anything. But yeah, if he can understand all of that, then yeah, I think we're looking at one of the best defenders in the league. But it's obviously going to take some time. Don't expect the next year or anything. But yeah, if Buzelis can kind of handle his down low, like, you know, the big trees down low, and then effectively be able to rotate on the perimeter, then we're looking at probably one of the best defenders in the league. It's a lot of ifs, right? But he's already, in my opinion, a really good defender. We just gotta get that little extra edge to him to kind of sharpen his overall skill set, and we'll be looking pretty good with him, honestly. Free tie boost sometimes gets a little lost, sometimes to push him to the right spot. For off ball, but he's improving. I mean, I can even go over one of the areas where I thought it was a little bit interesting to watch, because Stacey King even broke down the play. Now, I think that he called out Josh Giddey incorrectly on one of the plays that Stacey King broke down, when I think, honestly, Buzelis was part of the issue. But yeah, it's still all about the off-ball defensive stuff. Like that's been the problem with Buzelis mostly this year defensively, which hasn't been that many issues, right? I'd argue that Patrick Williams has a lot of issues defensively compared to what we see from Buzelis. Nets were up 25-5 to start the game. Oh, I was keeping track of that Nets game all night, and I was like, I hope they win, and yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. I just probably can't fall enough anyway, so I'll take the any win. Yeah, I think at this point, I'm just gonna hope that we just continue to play well, play correctly, right? Still play to your system, still play to your identity, and hopefully you get more time for the younger players like Buzelis, excuse me, and less time for guys like Javon Carter, and, you know, Kevin Huerter had a pretty alright game tonight, but like I just don't really need to see him. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, seems like the Bulls would go too high either. I mean, yeah, I don't think the Bulls should pass the Atlanta Hawks or the Magic or anybody like that, but they could pass the Spurs for sure. And also Portland is kind of sort of there. I think Portland's maybe in the clear of us at this point, but anything can happen, obviously. He's kind of like getting to the free throw line. So I won't lie, I think Giddey has done a really good job of getting to the free throw line. Like, that's been something that I've been incredibly impressed with him recently. I don't really know what exactly he's done besides maybe just flail more. I won't lie, bro. Giddey kind of, this is good for the Bulls. I'm not saying this to trash on him. I'm saying this is a good thing. He kind of gets the BS whistle a little bit. Like, I'll even show you. I'll show you this play here. Here, I'll just pull up the overall, the stream. Or sorry, not the recording. Giddey kind of gets the BS whistle a little bit, which is great. Like, I hope this continues for him. But there's some moments with Giddey where I kind of watch and I'm just like, I don't know how he got that, but sure, we'll take the foul. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, sorry, I just realized we're. I don't want to get, you know, copyrighted. Oh yeah, I mean here it is. Like, I won't lie. This play specifically, I thought Giddey kind of got the benefit of the doubt. So I mean, yeah, he has one Akar Jr. on him. Try to attack him ideally. He doesn't really get past him, but then you see how Giddey kind of hooks him, and then he just kind of uses that to his advantage. Like, this is not on Wendell by any means. Like, Wendell is trying to get his arm out of here, but Giddey hooked him, and he then spins and kind of flails. It's just like, like, throw it up, and it's just like, that's a foul, Wendell. I'm like, you know what? We'll take it. We'll gladly take that. I don't know if that's really a good call, but we'll take it. So yeah, if Giddey can continue doing this is very good. I'll gladly take any free throws right now because this team doesn't shoot many. But yeah, I would hope that. Oh, sorry, I hit my desk there. I hope that Giddey continues to get to the free throw line, because that's a very good sign. Him just getting to the free throw line, because like, obviously not the most efficient shooting night for Josh Giddey tonight, but if you get 8 free throws, then it looks a lot better overall, right? I mean, in terms of overall scoring, right? So continue getting to the free throw line. It's gonna help everybody, including the rest of the team, just get the fouls against the other team, and just get the easy points. Brandon, but will JJ Redick get Coach of the Year at this rate with position, or will people credit that in a Luka more move more? I'm actually worried that instead of JJ Redick getting the Coach of the Year, it's gonna go Instead, Rob Pelinka is going to get Executive of the Year. So I don't really know how that's going to work out. I think the problem is just that Kenny Atkinson might still just get Coach of the Year just with how good the Cleveland Cavaliers look. And I mean, hell, they might be honestly on a historical pace here. Not obviously they're not going to win 74 games, but they're going to get up there high in terms of overall wins. And I think I might just go to Kenny Atkinson. Oh, sorry, God, East and West, excuse me. For the West, yeah, I mean, it honestly probably should go to JJ Redick. I assume you don't want to give it to Dick Null again, but yeah, I'm a little bit more worried that the narrative is going to be, oh, we're going to Rob Pelinka instead because they made the insane trade to get Luka. Granted, though, there's a lot of time left. The Lakers could fall in the standings, but right now it's looking like that. He got with the foul down the stretch for sure. I think a lot of Bulls players got away with some things on the stretch. We'll take it, right? We'll gladly take it. Giddey got tech 2 games ago for looking mildly annoyed, bouncing the ball back to the ref after a call. Oh yeah, Giddey made a bounce pass to the ref, and the officials were like, oh, that was too hard of a pass. Tech, like, I hate the officials, bro. The officials right now are just so bad. I'm so pissed at the officials right now. They're just so, like, again, every single tech is $1,000 fine. Like, that's a lot of power. I mean, I'm aware these players make a lot of money, but at the same time, like, if someone over your life could just be like, yeah, I have the ability just to, at any point in time when you're at work, take $100 away from you. Like, it's just insane that the officials get to just do this. So, yeah, I hate the officials right now. I will continue saying it until something changes. Both Franz and Paul score similar places, to be fair. Oh, they definitely do, which is kind of a problem. So we'll see about the Magic future. For all about Suggs, I mean, a lot of people forget about Jalen Suggs, but like he might honestly be the glue to this Magic team because he's kind of like he really shouldn't be the point guard, but he is. But defensively, he's just so damn good. Like, yeah, it might just be the kind of the whole issue with the Magic right now. They just don't have their main perimeter player. Kobe defense, actually want to give credit to tonight. It might have been the second most engaged game in the season, especially second half. Yeah, I think in the first half, Kobe had some defensive mishaps. Like, there was definitely some moments where it was more off-ball than on-ball, where it was just like, I don't know what Kobe's doing. Like, he completely lost his man. In the second half, though, I think he did a great job. Granted, again, Billy Donovan did a good job with the system, with the whatever zone it was. We'll go over that again. But, yeah, I think Kobe did a good job of playing his zone correctly a lot. By law, Paul Franza fixed their shot like Carter, career best streak of games with 3+ three-pointers made for him. Maybe he has the right to say he shoot better in our system than Sack. I mean, yeah, he's right. It's just that you're also on like a streak where you're shooting 50% from the field. Which, sure, yeah, maybe our system's a part of that, but also you might just be on this ridiculous hot streak. And granted, again, Herder deserves a little bit more credit for everything because it's like he is a shooter at the end of the day. And he's been pretty good shooter in his entire career, but like, I don't know, bro, like that, like in Sack, I understand that there is some level of like, yeah, maybe you're a little bit out of rhythm there, but like you shouldn't, as a good shooter, you still shouldn't be shooting 31%, even in Sacramento. So I don't know. I'm hoping this, obviously, it's like he's not going to get you shooting like 50% for the field, but if the Bulls have their sniper, then for sure, awesome. But I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting where like, you know, Her's gonna go on like another cold stretch or something, because I'm just really concerned like that cold stretch earlier was just not a fluke, because that was there for a while. Like that wasn't like a, you know, like a month-long slump. Like that was a season-long slump in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, if we buy low on Banchero, I guess, which is just not, it's just not, you're not going to be buying low on any of these guys at this point. They're too valuable to the Magic. Joey being unstoppable as the two-man, grown man basketball mixed with modern day. I mean, again, I think Kobe's done better recently. But just like with Josh Giddey earlier, like, and Giddey's been much better, since in February. Like, I can't ignore how Kobe's had like a really rough stretch overall, like this year. Again, he's been better recently. He's hit 20 plus points in the last 4 games now. He's had obviously career high tonight. But I honestly I look at this with Kobe and I'm like, okay, well, I hope you continue playing like this. Obviously not 40 plus every night, but you got to continue being able to do stuff like this on a more consistent basis, where you're shooting let's say it has to be some sort of mixture of like you're shooting better than 25% from the 3-point line, and you're not getting off to a 3 for 10 start or something like that, right? Like, obviously tonight you shot 57% and 47%. That's not gonna be every night. I don't expect you to do that every night, but maybe you can be like 46 and like 38% every night or something like that. Like, that's just kind of where I need him to be, which he might honestly be that for the season, but like he's just had so many games where it's like he has a good game like tonight, and then the next game it's just like he has like 10 points and like 2 of 14 shooting or something like that. It's just like, what? So with Kobe, it's just like, it's yet again, it's about consistency. He's just been inconsistent this entire season. I mean, just like how again, like we just talked about this consistent with everybody. Like, you can't, like, he's had like this nice little stretch again, but I'm like, okay, you're shooting 43% for the season, which is not great. And then, I mean, overall, like, February wasn't that great of a month for you. Like, you shot under 40% from the field. 17.5 points is not bad, but when you're shooting 38% from the field, it's kind of bad. I mean, and then also December was pretty rough for him this year, which I understand. It's like, it's still 17, but we're asking for Kobe to be a very, like, a 20-point per game consistent scorer. That's, he hasn't done that, right? He hasn't even averaged 20 points in a month this year. So, like, obviously major props to him tonight. I'm just saying, like, we can't get too ahead of ourselves, because it's like, this is a nice game, this is a nice little stretch, but it's like, can you continue doing this for the rest of the month and the rest of the season? Just like how I said with Giddey, like, and Giddey's 3-point shot is kind of falling off again. So it's just kind of just like, something to just keep in mind. If Kobe, like, let's say Kobe ends the season with these numbers, it's not bad by any means, but it's been, when you factor in that it's like, it's the inconsistency within the games, where it's like, you'll have a 25-point outing and then like a 7-point outing, and then the next game is like 26 points, and the next game is like 5. You're like, what are we? That's just kind of the biggest thing with Kobe. If he can get to the point where he's averaging like, or like, let's say the games are like, okay, if he shoots well, it's like 20 plus easily, but then the games he shoots bad, like, you at least get me to like 16, then we're looking at a better spot for him. But he's got to get there, which he just hasn't done that this year. He's just had too many games where it's just like, I don't know what you're doing. And if you're wondering just kind of what I'm talking about, so again, recently he's been in high scoring, right? More efficient, right? But I mean, there's these games, right? Like, these games are not great. These are actually honestly pretty decent before the All-Star break hit. And then it's like, this game is just like, what? So it's just this, again, inconsistency throughout the games, and it's just like, okay, come on, bro, we gotta fix ourselves here, because we can't continue to have like some of these like poor outings. When you're like, oh, this is a team we should kind of go ahead and destroy, and it's like, oh, well, I don't know where you are. So lots of good examples here, right? More than I thought this game for Kobe. I guess he was just on. I mean, yeah, I think if Kobe's on, just like with any good scorer, give him the ball. Like, we don't need to run it through our point guard only or whatever, right? This is what teams used to do to us all the time against Vooch. Oh, I mean, yeah. I would agree with that. He looks fluid, but I guess he wasn't thinking as hard. Yeah. Going the higher season high than Levine now is funny. Zach shouted him out on Twitter after the game. That's actually very funny, yeah. I think Zach could have gotten to, 44 if he really wanted to this year, but honestly, I don't even know how many times Zach even took 20 shots on the Bulls uniform this year. Probably wasn't that many, all things considered. So yeah, that's actually very funny. So yeah, that's cool though to see. If we keep Kobe and Giddey, we have at least a good young 1, 2, and 3. Reminder: Kobe White is, I think, now 25 officially. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about necessarily young, Tyler. That's my only thing. Like, is Kobe still young at this point? I mean, he's 25. Like, are we still saying young? I don't know, bro. That's kind of the only thing I have to just keep in mind. Look how he did those things like cutting a lot. Maybe that is part of how I mentally focused on it, as he usually is lazy with cuts. I agree with that. I think he's been lazy with some cuts this year for sure. But yeah, I think he did a good job of just finding his spots, right? Finding when to take the cut, right? And then also just when to spot up effectively. Not to mention guys like Io and Lonzo, maybe even Smith/Collins. Tyler, I love you, man. You've been an incredible part of this community, but I won't lie, bro. Like, when you talk about young, right? Like, you know, it's kind of crazy to think about, but like, what year is this for Kobe? This is year 6? Like, are we really talking about young anymore, or are we talking about like this guy's more of a vet? Like this is year 6. Like, it's not like Kobe's necessarily like the youngest guy in the world right now. Like, I get it that he's not 30, but it's kind of crazy to say. But right now, he is only 4 years younger than Zach LaVine. So, or maybe he's now 5 years. I don't know if Zach had his 30th birthday or not. But, like, it's not like he's that young. Like, it's not like he's 10 years younger than Zach. He's not 8 years younger than Zach. He's, like, 5 years younger than Zach. Like, I don't really know if Kobe's really that young. And Lonzo's definitely not young. I would argue also Io isn't really that young either. I consider them, like, I guess, part of the younger core, but that's just because we have guys like Javon Carter and Nikola Vucevic still on the roster. So I don't know. Like, it's just kind of like this little, like, what's the balance? So yeah, again, we'll talk about it. I don't know what I'll even call it Giddey position-wise tonight. Oh, I don't even know either. Just player. Yeah, Giddey was honestly just kind of doing just whatever out there. He was rebounding like a center, and then he's playing the fast break like he's a point guard, and then there are times when he's very clearly like the power forward out there and like in certain spots on the floor, and then there's just times where he's just like, yep, we're basically kind of like a shooting guard, small forward playing the corner. So yeah, I don't know, just player. Yeah, he was just player out there, honestly. Was he supposed to be stuck in 10th? Yeah, I think they're both gonna be stuck in 10th in the East. Biggest thing right now is, again, just don't pass San Antonio in the standings. Make sure you're worse than them. But yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest thing right now. Yeah, I agree. I thought that'd be surprising because they're stars, but I don't feel like the match this roster. You're talking about the Magic? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know I'm late to chat. I'm trying to catch up here. You guys type way too fast, which is I sincerely appreciate it, but I also I want to read every message. Plus, Buzelis' project projects to be comparable to, if not better than, Wagner anyway. I mean, the biggest thing right now with Buzelis is just going to be can he one get the ball handling down to the point where he can, you know, go an average 25 a night like how Wagner is right now. But 2 is figure out the 3-point shooting, because if you can be a better 3-point shooter, then he could potentially be like a little bit different than Wagner. But Wagner right now is not hitting threes, but he's still averaging 25. So that's kind of just the big thing for Buzelis, is like get to the free throw line effectively, get into the paint and finish effectively. Which you need the ball handling to do so, which he has the potential for sure. It's still obviously, you know, the ball handling is still a little bit herky jerky, but that's fine. Yeah, so like, I hope if he can get that next level of that ball handling, then we're looking great. He's often a better guarding guys his size than smaller, faster guards. So I agree. I think Giddey should be guarding power forwards. So yeah. Did Maj just underperform after the first half? I guess first quarter. So I don't think he would, like, if you're wondering about like if it was like a Patrick Williams effect for Buzelis tonight, where it's just like, oh, first half, you know, was this, and then all of a sudden we didn't see him for the rest of the game. No, I actually think Buzelis, I would, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think he had most of his blocks in the second half. Yeah, he had 2 blocks in the second half. He didn't really shoot a lot, but Billy also took him out like early in the third quarter for whatever reason. I don't know why. But I think he was honestly doing a really good job. Like he still had the 4 rebounds, even though he didn't take many shots. I think he did a good job overall. Because again, the Bulls were playing without, their two centers for the last 8 minutes. So I honestly think that Puzelis, like, it wasn't like a Patrick Williams effect where it's just like we didn't see him at all. Like, he's out there, but like not out there. I think Puzelis actually did a really good job tonight, even though he didn't really show up in the box score. So like you could say he kind of underperformed. Like, obviously a really good first quarter, but I don't really necessarily think it was anything like too bad. Honestly, I think he did a pretty good job tonight because he was playing out of position a lot tonight, which is not his fault. Obviously, that's just the situation the Bulls were in. Start, bench, / trade / wave for Kobe, Io, Trey / Zoe. Oh, okay. I mean, if we had to go off of those 4 players, right? Those 4 players, I mean, I would like to put 2 guys in the trade category, honestly. But I know that's not possible. So, if it was up to me, I'm starting Io, I'm benching, I don't know, honestly, you can bench anybody else, but basically I'm trading Kobe, and this is just me for the future. Like, I'm talking about for the future here, okay? I'm not talking about, like, win now. Like, if you're trying to win now, then you're starting Lonzo. But in terms of for the future, like, I'm starting Io, I guess I'm benching Trey Jones, and I'm trading Kobe, and then, I don't know. Honestly, that's not right either. Okay, well, see, this is the hard part where I'm just like, I want to trade 2 guys. Like, I would trade both Kobe and Lonzo, but never mind. We'll go with this. We'll say start Kobe, bench Io, you trade Lonzo, and you waive Trey Jones. I guess I'll say that. But honestly, I'm just like, yeah. I mean, you could honestly trade 2 guys out of that whole situation. You don't need to just trade 1. Sorry, hold on. I'm catching up on chat. Sorry. I'm a big fan of Giddey, but his impact this game is honestly about the same impact as everyone who isn't a center, which is to say great, just not Kobe White great. There's the Kobe White masterclass. I think obviously Kobe should be the biggest reason why the Bulls won tonight. Like, no doubt in my mind. Like, Kobe should be the biggest reason why the Bulls won tonight. He had the most impact tonight, by far. Hit 10 shots in the second half. Like, he did a phenomenal job. Yeah, I think Giddey, like, I guess you could say Giddey kind of replaced the center outputs that we've been getting. And then Trey Jones was like the other scorer tonight, which is kind of crazy to say because that's not typical. So yeah, I do think that Kobe White was an absolute master. This is a masterclass by Kobe. This looked like Atlanta, right? The playing game against the Atlanta Hawks. Kobe White. Well, that Kobe White play reminds me of a dope basket JP had where it was 2v1 in the fast break and cut one off, then boxed the. Oh yeah, with the left, bro. That was a very impressive play by Julian Phillips. I won't lie. I was kind of saying out loud, I was just like, wow, like that was impressive. Yeah, I definitely think that JP there was doing a good job. Yeah, I think JP again, like this, it's not gonna show up in the box score tonight. Like, that was just like one of his only 2 made shots, but he did a good job tonight. Like that was a lot on JP's shoulders tonight because he was playing out of position. So good job. Kobe definitely raises his value in front of the Magic. Oh, for sure. Is there an official rule that states how many dribbles you can take after a pass for it to count as an assist for the passer? Honestly, bro, I don't even know at this point. Jokic is getting assist right now where the guy has to do a dribble. Like, he has to dribble 5 times. He has to cross over. He has to slither through 2 different defenders, and he still gets the assist. And it's off a handoff. Like, I honestly, at this point, I don't even know what is considered an assist because I've been watching, like, I don't know if you saw that clip recently, but, like, Jokic got, like, I think 19 assists in one game, and you watch, like, the first, like, 4 assists or something like that. I don't know what it was, but I saw, like, a lot of the assists, and it's just, like, he hands the ball off to Jamal Murray, and he, like, does all these dribble moves, and he goes and lays it up, and it's just, like, how is that an assist? Like, I don't know, bro. There's just, I think we're honestly giving out assists way too easily right now. But that's just my opinion at the end of the day. But yeah, I don't even know what the official rule is with it. It's just subjective. Like how a lot of things are, unfortunately, right now. The foul on Jalen Franz ran into him. Oh my god, bro. When Jalen Smith got called for that foul, I was like, oh my god. I'm shocked Jalen Smith didn't get thrown out then because I was pissed off for him. I was like, that's an insane foul. That's not his fault. you start using less hair gel so you get some of the Kobe hair foul calls. Oh, I mean, honestly, keep doing that. If you need to, don't apply any hair gel. Honestly, it's just for you to get all of the whistles. Then great, dude. Don't put any hair gel in. Get every whistle you can. Jay's lock a player for sure for BS whistles. He's pretty competitive too within that. I mean, yeah, I think Giddy he's a pretty active complainer as well. But hey, if you're getting the whistles, then continue doing it. I'll do anything. I'll say if you're getting the whistles, continue doing what you're doing. Just like how Luka constantly complains and gets the whistles, continue doing that. No, Rob, haven't seen you in a bit. Well, I guess we'll see the challenge in 2-minute report about that previous talk we had hitting the glass on shots, unless you already covered my bad. I have not covered that. So first and foremost, I don't think Anthony Black touched the ball. So if there was any talk about, Kobe went up and tried to lay it up, it hit glass first, and Anthony Black touched it after it hit glass, I don't think Black did that. I still stand by that, if you make an attempt to block the shot and it doesn't, completely affect the shot and he hit glass, it's fine. That's not an issue. Because, again, I feel like we've seen too many times where it's someone goes up to try to block a shot and they hit backboard, but it's not that big of an issue if, the board doesn't shake around. And Black didn't shake the board. So I think it was honestly, they made the right call because Phillips did make basket interference. Because he tried to go for it too early. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely see in the last 2-minute report. I'm sure that last 2-minute report is going to be ridiculous because I think there was a lot of missed calls. But yeah. Think assist after dribbling is 2 dribbles after pass normally. I mean, I don't know, bro, at this point. I've seen way too many moments where it's just handoff, guy dribbles 4 times, bucket, assist for the handoff player. I guess we've seen nice quick baskets within 4 to 5 seconds after opposing made baskets. Yes, that is good to see from everybody. Pushing tempo. First coach here is Mark Dagnall. Yeah, I would probably put him there. I want not big man defense player in Daniels. I could honestly see that happening. The problem, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, we'll have to see about that. We see on some bullshit, I 6 the third foul to actually hit foul call on free throws. Oh yeah, I don't know what it is. Again, officials just bad. Granted, I think the Bulls got the fouls tonight, but it's been bad at moments. Warren to stay if he can somewhat keep the sub, spread the floor and solid defensively. I disagree about solid defensively. I think Kevin Herter is not a good defender. I think there's too many moments where he's not playing good defense, but that's my opinion. Wow, Paulo's dad calling the Magic terrible on Twitter after the game. That's actually crazy. Ben Caro did not play well tonight, so maybe you should call your son bad. Because that was not, I don't know if it's only on the rest of the Magic, when that was a pretty, that was not a good performance by Ben Caro. So he's realized the ball gets to him, he shouldn't be looking to pass. I feel like his bad splits is because he only shooting when he gets grenades. I mean, yeah, I think Kobe, if he's in the mindset of score first, besides kick out first, then it might fix some things for sure. Was I referring to their officiating? Oh, I'll double check that. I didn't see the whole game, but were the Bulls getting a lot of calls or something? The Bulls definitely got some calls tonight. I won't lie. The Bulls got some calls tonight. I'm not saying they got. I mean, there were definitely some calls that went against them tonight, just like with the Magic too. But the Bulls definitely got some calls tonight that was just I don't know if we deserve that one, but sure. Also, took adjusting to have Zach in your team and then losing him, so teams have a much easier time covering you. Oh, I mean, yeah, I think Kobe, it definitely, I think everyone had to take that, sort of an adjustment period where, Zach's gone. It's okay, the best defender is no longer on Zach, right? So it's best defenders on either Kobe or, whoever they think the best scorer is, right? So I definitely think there's that adjustment period. There's also then the adjustment period of oh, wow, we have to play guys in different spots now, right? Because Levine is obviously a major part of the offense, and then you lose him, and so it's well, maybe he was initiating this play, and then someone else has to initiate it, right? So there's definitely the adjustment period for sure. Also, then the new guys coming in. So yeah, I do think it takes some time, but just as much as I've said with Giddey and his hot shooting recently, right? With Kobe, it's the same thing. You've scored 20 plus on better efficiency recently. Can you continue doing this? Because you just haven't done that this season. Where you're getting the double digits but very inefficiently, or you have a very good game and then you have a pretty bad game the next game. So that's just kind of what I'm saying. Press is terrible, but not in a way that favors the Bulls. Apparently, Paul's parents have had negative comments on socials. I think it was definitely more favored towards the Magic tonight, but I do think the Bulls got some calls tonight. I won't lie. KCP contract not aging the best. Yeah, KCP is not shooting that great either. But is a young vet, or is that middle-aged vet for NBA? I mean, when a guy comes in at 19 and he's then 25, I mean, you could say young vet, but at the same time, Kobe's played a lot of games already. I mean, how many games has Kobe played in his career now? 404? Like, that's a lot of games. So, I don't know. Young vet, I guess. So they put some more good games till the season's over, traded during the offseason. Kobe should be entering his prime age-wise, but unfortunately don't see him getting much better than he is now. Was saying those guys were young, but just the three, but I can understand not calling Kobe young. Okay, so here's the talk I wanted to have with you, Tyler. Like, I was pretty adamant that the Bulls, if, you know, the market was there, again, I'm not in the front office, so I don't know, but if the market was there for Kobe this last trade deadline, I think they should have traded him, because with the current contract situation for Kobe, okay, a reminder to everybody what's happening here. So if you're wondering about Kobe and his future with the Bulls, the reason why I said to trade him is just because you're looking at a guy right now who, at least in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, I don't think he's going to get much better than what he is right now. Where he had his career high tonight, that's awesome for him. I'm very happy for him. The thing is, though, is that we saw him put up a very similar game against the Atlanta Hawks in a playing game, and then he's had this overall sort of season where it's been pretty up and down, some pretty bad moments, a lot of moments of just inefficiency. And yet again, I mean, we'll see moving forward here, but I just don't think he's going to ever be a consistent 20-point per game scorer or 20-plus point per game scorer on good efficiency. And the problem with Kobe is just that he's, like, it's also the fact that, like, when he doesn't necessarily score that much, it's like his inefficiency really hurts him, because he's not knocking down the three ball at, like, a very extreme high rate. Like, he's league average right now with three-point percentage, okay? So, like, even when, let's say, like, he's not necessarily, like, putting up 20 points or whatever, he's then, like, not always, like, he's not exactly the best threat from three-point range either. Defensively, he's kind of limited. Not his fault. He just doesn't have the tools. And we've kind of talked about it. It's just, like, unless he's scoring, like, what else does he really do consistently? Like, if you're wondering why people compare him to Zach, it's just because, like, they're kind of similar in a sense. But the thing that Zach LaVine, what makes him an all-star, is that Zach LaVine averages 24 points per game pretty easily. Like, he goes out and efficiently averages 20 points per game, or 24 points per game. He's had seasons where he's averaged, 27 points per game. And yes, Zach LaVine is not that great defensively. Yes, Zach LaVine isn't much else in terms of what he can bring on the offensive end, but I would argue he's a little bit better playmaker than Kobe. Not much, though. But the thing that LaVine does bring is that even when he's not necessarily scoring the ball, he's an elite threat from three-point range. And so I've always just kind of said that Kobe White is a poor man's Zach LaVine. So unless you're a LaVine-level scorer, is it really worth investing that much money into you if your biggest thing is just scoring the basketball and, like, you don't really do much else? And so with Kobe, just because of his inconsistencies, like, I just don't know how much better he's going to get. Like, I agree with Darius with him saying, like, Kobe is technically going into his prime of his career, but, like, is he going to get that much better? Again, doesn't have the biggest wingspan. He's had some nice dunks recently, but he's not, like, the most athletic. He is a bigger guard, so at least there's that, but it's not like he's, 6'7" out there. So it's just kind of just like, it sucks saying it, because as much as I love the kid, it's just like, is it worth for the Bulls to try to maybe trade him? The reason why I said I would trade him, though, is because his value right now at the trade deadline was going to be the highest it's ever going to be. Like, Kobe can go on and average a lot more points, but unless he's going to get to all-star level, like, his highest value trade-wise was at the deadline. This upcoming offseason, like, I'm sure they're going to probably look to maybe trade him, but his value will be less than what it was at the deadline because he has one less year on his contract now. The thing is the reason why I'm saying that we maybe should be looking to move him is just because he's been starting a lot recently, and he's averaging, like, 18 this year. He averaged 19 last season, okay? The player I kind of just always compare him to is Emmanuel Quickley, okay? And Emmanuel Quickley, who you can argue is better or worse than Kobe, I would probably say worse, kind of puts up similar numbers to him. Like, when he got his ability to start consistently, it's kind of similar, where it's like you shoot kind of low 40s, mid 40s percentage. You shoot, I mean, he's maybe a little bit better 3-point shooter than Kobe, but like it's still around 37% like Kobe. You know, assists are a little bit higher than Kobe, but the rebounds are basically the same. Turnovers are a little bit lower than Kobe, but Emmanuel Quickley got paid $165 million. So, like, do you want to pay Kobe White, Emmanuel Quickley money, which, again, Quickley signed this, you know, last year. So it's not like this was, for Quickley, like, it's not like, oh, it's this upcoming, salary cap where the salary cap's going to rise to $154 million. Like, he signed this contract, you know, when the salary cap was lower. So if you're Kobe White and you're like, oh, well, Emmanuel Quickley's getting this much money, then if he's getting $165 million, or 162, excuse me, then I deserve 170, or I deserve 180, right? Which, I don't know if that's really what he's thinking, but at the end of the day, he's definitely at least getting 100 million. At least in my opinion, right? Like, no matter what, Kobe White's at least getting 100 million, like, at bare minimum. Probably he's gonna get more. I mean, I think he's at least looking at like 140 million. I mean, I think he has every right to ask for it, honestly. Because again, it may sound like a lot, but he's been a guy that's averaged 18 points per game in the last 2 seasons. So, that's kind of the reason why I'm like, is Kobe White worth 100, you know, whatever million? And the reason why it's kind of scary, if you're wondering, is just because the Bulls cannot offer Kobe White that sort of extension before he hits unrestricted free agency. Okay. If you're wondering, the reason why is that the extension rules basically go off your previous year extension or your previous contract. So I know it's a lot of words, so just keep up with me here. I know it's a lot, so just keep up. Okay. But basically, the most that the Bulls can offer is 140% of this number here. Plus, I don't know the exact whole logistics of it, but it's basically they cannot offer Kobe White, like, you know, the 4-year $140 million, whatever you want to call it, whatever the big contract is. Okay. Kobe, no matter what, is going to head into unrestricted free agency. Okay. Because for him, it is the best business decision to do so. Like, it's his way of getting the most amount of money. So again, I just kind of bring it up. I'm like, well, if you're the Bulls, right? Like, is it worth paying Kobe White 140 or 150, 160 plus million dollars, first and foremost? But then, on top of it, do you want to risk losing him in unrestricted free agency where he could just go anywhere? Okay, when instead you can maybe trade him and get certain value back in return, but not lose him for nothing, right? So that's just kind of the questions you have to keep in mind. You know, in a perfect world, I'm saying, okay, we just keep Kobe, we don't have to worry about this. But in this sort of situation, I'm just like, well, we're aware of what's happening here because Kobe's on this contract that does not allow the Bulls to give him an extension. Therefore, they might have to think about trading him because he will, no matter what, hit unrestricted free agency. I promise you he will. If Kobe White accepts an extension from the Bulls before hitting unrestricted free agency, I will personally I'll gift memberships in my channel. Okay? Like, that it'll be insane to me to see if Kobe White does that. Now, I've been wrong before because I thought Lonzo was gonna, no matter what, hit unrestricted free agency as well, and he took the extension. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'd be very, very shocked if Kobe White does not hit unrestricted free agency. He should, for his own interest, go into unrestricted free agency and try to get the most amount of money possible, which is, he has every right to do so, and I hope he does. That's the only reason why I'm just like, again, love the kid. He's really worked on his game here. He's become a lot better over the years. He's very clearly worked on his dribble. He's putting in the effort. Like, that's all I can really ask for. It's just that at the same time, you kind of have to evaluate players. And the current contract situations for the Bulls is just like, it's a little scary kind of thinking about it. Like, is Kobe White really worth paying this much money and also restricting unrestricted free agency with? So that's kind of the only reason why I'm just saying this. Like, I'm aware everyone's going to be like very anti against what I'm saying after tonight's game, because all everyone wants to talk about, you know, like what Tyler wants to say is like, wow, if we have Giddey and Kobe White and Montes Buzelis moving forward, like, that's a nice, good young trio. And I'm like, well, I get what you're saying, right? But at the same time, I just look at the business aspect of it all, and I'm like, I don't really think Kobe's gonna be an all-star, at least in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So is it worth investing that much money into him? Because he's gonna be up for a new contract soon. So, you know, it is just what it is. We'll see what the Bulls decide to do. But with Giddey, the Bulls have his restricted free agency rights. With Kobe, they don't. He's gonna hit unrestricted free agency, which means that he might get paid a little bit more than the Bulls want to give him, and they can lose him for nothing because Kobe can take less money and go somewhere else. So it's just something to keep in mind. I also just want to keep in mind that he is also 25. Maybe Giddey, I think Giddey's still only 22 at this point. So it's like that's like a 2.5 year age difference between those two guys. Like, you know, that's a lot at the end of the day. I know a lot of people don't think that, but that's a lot when it comes to like actually rebuilding. So I don't know. Just kind of just want to keep in mind with it all. If it was up to me this upcoming offseason, okay, if you want to know my personal decisions, first and foremost, I'm trying to get Vucevic off this roster immediately. I don't know what's going to take, but we'll see. I would also then try to get Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins off the roster. I doubt you will, so I'm fine keeping them. Try to get Javon Carter off the roster, you know, by any means, but, you know, it's probably not going to happen either. So you're then probably trading Kobe White, at least in my opinion, you know, for hopefully some future assets in return, and decent value, and you're using your mid-level exception on a forward this upcoming offseason. So that's kind of just what I'm planning, but I'm not in the Bulls front office. You know, take my opinion with a grain of salt. That's up to you guys. But yeah, that's just kind of what I look at when it comes to Kobe, his situation. I love the guy. I think he's done a really good job of developing with the Bulls, which is something we can't really say about players. But, you know, I want Kobe to go and be successful. And I just unfortunately think because he's not that good of a, like, he's not an all-star level scorer, he's probably more of a Lou Williams than he is a Zach LaVine, in a sense, if that makes any sense. Which I know a lot of people say Zach LaVine should come off the bench. He shouldn't. That's insane. There's, I think, a pretty big, clear difference between those two. And check out for the night. Thanks again for the stream. By the way, don't worry about me being offended by you disagreeing with me. You're a human. It's okay. Oh, I'm not. First and foremost, if I ever do offend somebody, please let me know. I sincerely apologize if I ever do offend somebody. I take that pretty seriously. I don't want to ever offend anybody. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not trying to. Tyler, I mean, you obviously what you say what doesn't offend me either. We all have our opinions. And yeah, if I'm sure we are going to disagree on some things. So yeah, I'm glad just to be able to chat about it. I think it's fun to chat about it, honestly. Kobe's a poor man's Cam Thomas to me. Yeah, it's kind of similar. Yeah, it's similar in a sense. Cam Thomas, though, is also, at least in my opinion, he's not Levine level. I know a lot of people think he might be. He just isn't. Kobe's 3-point percentage would feel much better if he was hitting a consistent clip instead of 3 for 12 one night and 7-15 the next. It's so much variance for a guy who doesn't necessarily have a high floor otherwise. I also agree with that. Like, if Kobe, like, let's say Kobe maybe isn't gonna consistently get to the basket every night, but I at least know he's a 40% 3-point shooter, right? Then he's more worth keeping around because then he's a 3-point threat even if he doesn't have the ball in his hands, right? The problem is just that he has these nights, like you're saying, where it's just like he just can't make a three. So that's kind of the only issue with it. So maybe that's something you bet on, right? But at the same time, then I'm also just worried about the money that is going to be involved. Or Trey Man, less defense, more trust in him. Yeah. I'm really high on Anthony Block, and there's no way in how Orlando would do it, but do you think they would give us Block in a trade package for Kobe? Well, I mean, ironically, I do think that the Magic were interested in Kobe because I mean, you see the 3-point shooting, right? Like, even Kobe's kind of league average 3-point shooting is like heaven on earth for the Magic because they can't make threes. The Magic came into tonight shooting 30.7% for 3-point range as a team, bro. Like, the Magic are so bad with the 3-pointers this year. It's insane to look at. Like, I don't know how David's getting through this year. But I mean, maybe. Like, they kind of have to make some of these decisions here where it's like, yeah, it's a hard decision, but like you might have to do it. And honestly, like, I don't really know who else they could have given up because it's like you're keeping you're keeping Mo Wagner, you're keeping Batadze. He's played too well this year, so it would have been Gary Harris and someone else. I think this it would have it was something along these lines. I don't really know what it was, but it was along these lines here. But yeah, it would have been Gary Harris, and then I guess it would have been Corey Joseph, which the Bulls would have had to waive a player. But I mean, at the time they could have waived Torrey Craig, Chris Duarte. So I don't know. I mean, this upcoming off season, like maybe, bro, maybe they do it. I would probably say no. Like, if I had to make a guess, like, it's probably not. I would love it. I would personally do it. But I think that's way too much if you're the Magic. I think also they can go and use Anthony Black for someone else. Like, they can use Anthony Black for someone better than Kobe White, which is fine for them. Like, they clearly need like a starting shooting guard. I mean, I think KCP when he's right is very good, but he might just be falling, right? So maybe they can attach his contract with Anthony Black's contract and get someone better, right? So who knows? I also like Black. That was definitely a hope in such a trade. Yeah, that was a hope. It's a big long shot though. I don't really think that was gonna ever happen. The content says Zach for sure he's worse at passing. I mean, yeah, he's definitely worse at passing. I also just think Zach's overall his overall just balance to the game is very good. With Cam Thomas, it's a little bit inconsistent with his overall floor balance, but yeah. Rewatching the last play, why did Wendell Carter come back down with the ball, just put it back up? Yeah, bro, we'll watch this play just together here. I don't know what the hell Wendell Carter Jr. is doing. This is a guy that I defended with his time with the Bulls, and I look like an absolute idiot right now. But bro, Wendell, like, I just I'm lost. Like, there's things with Wendell that I don't understand. It just kind of seems like his head isn't always in the game, and this right here to me is insane. If you're Wendell, you have to just go back up with this. Like, even if, for example, let's say for example that there was a lot more time on the clock than maybe that we initially thought, right? Like, let's say for example, let's say there was, when he did, for whatever reason, he got the offensive rebound, he still had like 3.5 seconds left to go. Okay, like, I don't care. Like, I would much rather you just still try to go up and put it back up in one motion than for you to come back down and try to go back up with it. Like, I would rather you just try to just make sure you get the shot off than for you to like gather yourself and then go and make it for sure layup or whatever. But the fact that Wendell, for whatever reason, okay, he first and foremost, he threw Buzelis out of the way, okay? So this is something that I do think that will show up in the last 2-minute report, and this is something that we'll see what happens here. But yeah, Wendell absolutely just threw Buzelis out of the way here, but then he decides not to go back up with this for whatever reason. He should know at least that the clock is winding down, and that Banchero took the shot with very little time left to go. If he just goes back up with it and just pushes it up there as he's coming down, there's plenty of time for that shot to get off. And for some reason, and you know, maybe shout out Kobe for this because he did sort of kind of get in his way, but I don't know why Wendell Carter Jr. went back down with it. That makes no sense in my head. Wendell, I mean, God, bro, if there's ever a guy I was really wrong about, it was him. And yet again, like, I just want to make it clear, the Vucevic trade to me wasn't Wendell was not the issue in the Vucevic trade. It's the picks, right? Trading Wendell is fine. I mean, he's not going to be anything special, but this right here, though, bro, I don't know what the hell Wendell's doing. So I'll talk to other people about it. I'll talk to David about Wendell after this one. But really quickly, bro, if you're wondering about the Orlando Magic and I've had this discussion with David as well. If you're wondering, the Magic just recently signed Wendell Carter Jr. to an extension. If you're wondering, here is Wendell Carter Jr.'s recent contracts. He is currently on this contract, which is overall it's pretty cheap. It's 4 years, $50 million, and it goes down every single season. But then he just signed a new extension, which starts in 2026-27, and he's making $18, $19, and $20 million club option last year. I mean, is Wendell Carter Jr. basically worth $20 million a season? No. I mean, is he worth 10% of your cap? No. That's kind of just what it's crazy to look at. It's just like, wow, bro. Like, I don't know. It looks really bad right now. And I'm definitely interested to see what happens with him moving forward, because if I'm the Magic, I am not having this guy start for me at center anymore. He is definitely either a bench player or he's being traded, which is fine. Assuming Wendell stays at his current level, would you still have traded him for Vooch? I mean, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think Vooch is definitely overrated by Bulls fans. And I think a lot of Bulls fans do overrate him. And I think Vooch is worse than people really think. But even that being said, I still would have done the trade. I just thought, though, if you're wondering why, I love the trade at the time, by the way. And this is, you know, one of the things I got wrong, but it's just because I thought that AK was going to be hyper aggressive, and that was like one of like the first of many moves that were about to come, which sort of happened, but then he just stopped making moves, right? So yeah, I mean, trading Wendell in that trade is not an issue whatsoever. Like, even when I thought Wendell had more potential, was going to be next Al Horford, like, even that being said, I still would have done the deal. Even let's say Wendell became Al Horford 2.0, it's still a good, it's in my head, trading him for Vooch is fine. The problem was the picks, right? The picks were the issue with the trade. And that's kind of just like the biggest issue with the Bulls, because it's one thing to make that trade and you know, continue to make, you know, like hyper aggressive moves after. But it's a whole nother thing to only make that trade as your one aggressive move and you use 2 first-round picks for that. That's the problem. And AK definitely messed that up because he decided to stand pat, and then the only way you get value is with your first-round picks if you do that, and he traded 2. So that's the biggest issue with it. Magic follow-up is actually insane to me. I was so impressed with them early on when they were winning despite the injuries. They thought they'd be top 5-6 easily. I also thought that too, bro. Their fall-off is honestly pretty crazy. They've lost 5 straight all at home now. Yeah, bro, it's been rough. Yeah, Jalen Suggs might have actually been the glue, but it's a really rough time for them. Their loss against the Raptors the other night with that Jacoby Walker, you know, game winner. I mean, that might have been where the cookie crumbled, because you can't lose that game either. And so you've lost basically in back-to-back games. You've lost 2 games that were pretty much like, you can't lose this game. Like, it is straight inexcusable for you to be losing these 2 games. The Raptors didn't play their starters for the last 9 minutes of that game, and you still lost to them. And then tonight, the Bulls didn't have Vucevic, no Lonzo Ball, and, you know, no Ayo, no Patrick Williams. And there are 2 centers that are available. Both foul out with 8 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. You're the bigger team. You should be the better team. You clearly have the better players, and you somehow still find a way to lose it. Like, that's insane to me. So yeah, I honestly really think that what we're looking at with this team, it's like they might have to make some decisions. The biggest issue is just the money moving forward, because Wagner's extension kicks in next season, and then after that is going to be Banchero's new extension, which has not been agreed upon, obviously. So money gets very, very tight quickly, and I don't really know if they're ever going to be a tax team, but right now they're projected to be one. So moves have to be made, because they're not good enough, clearly. But they might have to make a decision, bro. I mean, it might just be time. I still think it's probably too early to make a decision, but they really have to make some big decisions around for the surrounding pieces, because this surrounding cast is not good enough. Like, Cole Anthony needs to go, at least in my opinion. You might need to cash in. Like, I don't know how much value Jet Howard has, but you might need to cash in on him. Same thing with like Caleb Houston or Tristan Da Silva. Like, you might need to cash in on these guys, and try to see if you get better players right now. Jonathan Isaac, I mean, we'll see how much they value him, but I mean, I would personally get rid of him too. I would definitely get rid of Wendell. So clear up some money, figure it out. Because, I mean, Wagner and Suggs and Banchero are, I mean, if those are the 3 you're going to be keeping, those guys are not going anywhere. And so neither is Mo Wagner. Like, that guy's staying. So they got a lot of work to do, which, won't lie, don't trust their front office to do so. And that's me saying that with a best friend that's an Orlando Magic fan. So I get the word quickly about that. Okay. Overall, fun game tonight. Kind of crazy the Bulls won this one, but Magic are on a very bad overall streak recently, so we'll see how they continue to pan out. I personally do want to go and watch this game, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys now. So I just want to say thank you so much for all tuning into tonight. This post-game stream tonight. If you have not already hit the like button on the stream, please do. Helps me out a lot. The next game for the Bulls is going to be against the Miami Heat in Miami. So the Bulls have to face the Florida teams right now. 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time game. So Bulls post-games to be at 9:30, assuming all things work out for me. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. If you are watching the VOD, I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching the VOD. Leave comments down below. I'm gonna try to start answering the comments again. I know I haven't really done that recently, so I'll get back to that soon. Yeah, thank you guys so much for a fun night. It's been a lot of fun tonight. And yeah, I'll be sending you guys off here. Breeze putting up an offer. Yeah, I did kind of see that a little bit, so I wanna go watch this because I want to watch Luka, who looks like himself again. Who would have thought, right? Tell people, man. Like, can't freak out too early. Thank you, stream. Enjoy the game. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Go enjoy this game. It's on TNT, so if you have TNT, go watch it now. Thank you guys so much. As we're gonna play after the stream ends here. Appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys on Saturday after the game. All right, peace out, y'all. Bye.